My name is Megan. I'm one of the penguin keepers here at the zoo. And I'm going to do about a 10-minute little chat if you guys would like to stick around and listen. And I'm going to feed our penguins a little snack. See if they'll get in the water. It's kind of warm.
Okay, cool.
We actually feed our penguins about 3 times a day. And we feed them 4 different types of fish. We feed them smelt, which is probably most of their favorite, which is the littlest fish we feed them, the fish I'm throwing in the pool. We also feed them capelin, trout, and herring. And we feed them 4 different types of fish for several different reasons. Number 1, it's healthy for them to have a variety of fish in their diet. They all have different nutrients in each fish, so it's more of a well-rounded diet when they get several different kinds. Also, all the penguins have their favorite fish and fish they don't like so much. So if you have more of a diverse diet, your food doesn't get so boring. And we also supplement the fish with vitamins in the morning. And the reason we do that is because as we actually freeze our fish, and then we'll thaw it out when we're getting ready to feed it. And the fish loses some of their nutrients in the freeze-thaw process. So we supplement the fish so that the penguins are getting everything that they need.
Birds keep eating it.
And the birds that you see flying around, the penguins, those are called Inca terns. And actually, they live with the penguins in the wild, and they'll follow the penguins around, and when the penguins find food, they'll actually dive in and steal some of the fish from the penguins. They'll also pick up the scraps that the penguins leave behind. And we have 6 of them. We have 3 that are adults, which look like this. They're gray, and they've got the orange feet and beak. And they also have a little white mustache-looking thing. And then we have 3 youngsters that were born this winter. And they're the ones that are more plain. They've kind of got the gray, and they're starting to get a little mustache, but their mustache is still pretty brownish gray. And a lot of people ask us about why our penguins have bands on their wings. They all have different color combinations, and that's just how we tell them apart. All the penguins do, though, have different personalities, and they all do look differently if you see them all the time. But a veterinarian might not know all of our penguins apart without their bands. So it just makes things a little simpler. And most of the birds in the zoo actually have their bands on their legs, like our Inca terns. But for penguins, it's easier to put it on their wings because it doesn't restrict their movement at all. But they do kind of have short, stubby little feet. So if you put it on their feet, it would be harder for them to move around. And also, it's harder for us to read the bands if they were on their feet. It's just easier for us to see. And that's also the name we call them. For example, this one right here is white, pink, pink. This one's white, green, green. The one in the water is blue, yellow, yellow. And that's the names we call them. We don't call them pet names like Bob or Susie. And that just lessens the confusion again. So if I were to tell a veterinarian that blue, yellow, yellow is not feeling very well today, she might not know she would know who I'm talking about, but if I said Bob isn't feeling very well today, she probably wouldn't know who I was talking about. So it just lessens the confusion a little bit.
Look, that's the boy when it exploded.
And the noise that you hear the penguins making, that's their call. And actually they all have different calls. Most people can't tell their calls apart. I don't know their calls from each other, but the penguins can tell the calls of other penguins apart from each other. They call for a lot of different reasons. Sometimes they call for their mates, to find their mates. A lot of times when they're standing next to each other, they'll call to each other just as a bonding thing. And they'll also call to each other to warn that this is their territory, or this is their nesting site, and to get away. So it can be interpreted a lot of different ways. Also, the chicks will call to their parents so that their parents know which chick is theirs, because they do nest in big colonies with lots of penguins. And if they can't find their chick, that could be a problem. So the chick calling just helps them find their chick. And actually, the chick will start calling before it's even out of the egg. And that way they can learn the chick before it's even hatched. So when it's a couple days from hatching, it'll start calling in the egg. In Humboldt, these guys are called Humboldt.